Iowa's only Democrat in Congress joins us from Washington, D.C. this week. Congresswoman Cindy Axne shares why she thinks mobile units could help the state standing as one of the worst in the country right now to fully vaccinate residents. Plus, why a fuel industry leader says the governor missed out by leaving his industry out of a plan to increase sales of renewables. And in the Insider's Quick Six, Representative Axne's timeline on those 3 decisions she has to make about her future.
From your local election headquarters, this is The Insiders with Dave Price.
Welcome to The Insiders. First this week, U.S. Representative Cindy Axne of West Des Moines. Her home state is worse than almost every other state in the country in the number of eligible residents fully vaccinated against COVID-19. It's about 1 in 20 people right now. She told me that mobile vaccination clinics funded through this latest COVID-19 relief bill could help.
It could be FEMA or National Guard involved. We could also be working with, our public health departments. I know we've got great county public health departments, and they're ready to do things like this. I was in Montgomery County recently, and they asked for this. They said, they're like, we don't even need the mobile. We just need the vaccines. We can get out there. We know where folks are. We've done this with flu shots. So, we can even do this through, county health departments if we can make that work. So I think there's a variety of ways to get those mobile spots out there, and this will give us the resources to do it.
Where do things stand with this $15 an hour federal minimum wage? It feels like there's support for this on the House, but not the Senate. So how is this going to go?
I'd be surprised if it makes it through the Senate and into their bill. We're pushing for it in the House, but I don't think it's going to make it into the final policy because I think it will get stuck in the Senate. But we're going to continue to move forward with it and pass it out on the House side.
You and your husband are small business owners, although obviously you don't have time to really do that these days once you've gone to Congress. But for the small business owners who are concerned about this jump from $7.25 to $15. Explain how that's phased in, and do you share any concerns that a $15 figure, means something in LA, but it's different than Creston?
I think you hit the nail on the head there. I'm all for moving towards $15 an hour. We need to make that happen. Nobody can get by on $7.25 an hour. And so this has got to happen, and we can't do something regionally, because if we don't put that increased minimum wage in place in Iowa, we'll start to see a drain of people leaving here to go to higher paying states. So what I would like to do, because you're absolutely right, I was talking to Atlantic restaurant owners about this issue, and a restaurant in Atlantic runs on a completely different profit margin and opportunity than someplace in New York or Seattle. So I'm looking to see if we can get any tax credits for those small businesses. Currently, we do have a gradient where the $15 will be phased in over a period of 5 years in our bill. And so that it will be, stepped in. So that will be one piece of help. But I still think that we need to look to some of those tax credits for some of those smallest business in the toughest industries who have the least amount of profit margin.
I'd like to talk about the COVID-19 vaccine supply and the distribution here. As we talk right now, the CDC has our state as the 3rd worst in the country for vaccinating people fully. So giving them their 2 shots here for those who are eligible to this point. Only Illinois and Utah have a fewer percentage, so a smaller percentage. So we're below 5%. Do you know why that is? Why are we not vaccinating more people more quickly?
Well, we certainly need to get more vaccinations to our state, and I've been working with the administration to make that happen. And I had a conversation with the head of vaccination distribution, Dr. Kushar, last week, and expressed to him that, we are in dire need of this. But I would also say that at a state level, we've got to make sure that we're getting those vaccinations out and distributing those. So I think that it's been a 2-pronged issue for Iowa, but I'm going to continue to push here at the federal level to ensure that Iowa is included in distribution efforts. We've got vaccinations coming to one of our federally qualified health centers. We made that first initial 250 tranche there. So that will be coming. The president has also purchased hundreds of millions of more vaccinations, and we're seeing that Johnson & Johnson may have a really good vaccination that would be a good product for Iowa, because it's one shot that can be stored more easily, and so that's more efficient for our small pharmacies spread throughout the state. So, I think it's a combination of both, but we're ramping up out here, and President Biden was left with no transparency or a lack of a process. And so this has all been built up. And, within the next month or so, we'll have seen a 50% increase over when he started in office as far as distribution. But that's got to continue. And he's making that a priority. That's why we have the $400 billion set aside in this bill to push that agenda.
That all being said, we maybe are still a rural state primarily. There are many other states that are rural states or smaller states, and they are significantly ahead of us in this vaccination percentage. So is there something in our infrastructure that's not working? Is it merely supply? What is it?
I don't have the exact answer to that, but if I was to wager a guess, I think of places like West Virginia, which is a very rural state, and they're doing incredibly well in getting shots in arms. They deployed what I think we should have done a while ago, which is having those county health departments have a more active role in actually getting the vaccination out. And they've been doing things like mobile spots, et cetera. So, I would wager that if you're showing a greater throughput of vaccinations, that you're going to get more vaccinations coming your way. So if you're a state like West Virginia that's making that happen, they're going to continue to see that supply pipeline. That's the impact of when we don't get those out into people's arms at a distribution level at the state. You could see a supply backup because we're not, showing that we need that. So we've got to, that's why I'm saying it's important to actually be on the ground distributing these vaccinations so we can show the need.
This past week, Governor Reynolds announced two different things that she said should help in this effort. Now, at least for now, she has tabled this project that she previously announced that she would do, that there'd be some kind of statewide website where you could go in there, enter where you live, and then it would help you schedule an appointment to get a vaccine. That's not happening now, but they started a new website, this vaccinate.iowa.gov, where you can get in there and then follow it, and it'll essentially just take you back to your local county for more information. So you can't use it for an appointment, but you can follow it to potentially get to a place that could. And then also using the 211 system for seniors who perhaps don't have computer access at home to make appointments. Are these efforts enough, or do you want the state to do what other states are doing, some of them at least, doing some kind of statewide website that takes over this burden from the locals where you can get in there and set up your appointment?
Well, I'm happy to see that we're making some progress, and I applaud anything that moves us in the right direction. And I really believe that we need that 211 number. I can't tell you how many older Iowans I've talked to that have to rely on a friend or child to get them an appointment. It's been really tough for those who don't access or have access to the internet to be able to book an appointment. I do think we need to go further, though, and I do believe we need things like large vaccination sites. We've been told that we can use the Yonkers at Merle Hay Mall. That's 100,000 square feet. One of our constituents said, please go ahead and use that. I'd love to see us have mass vaccination sites like that. We also need to have a website that really is more inclusive of helping people get an appointment, not just find out where you can get one. I think that's good. It's nice because that does eliminate a lot of the questions people have right off the bat, but it would sure be a lot more helpful to be able to go to a one-stop shop and then get your appointment while you're there.
You have said repeatedly that you do not think that there was widespread voter fraud across our country that prevented Donald Trump from becoming president. Should Congress look at some kind of committee, commission, hearing, something to get this all out there, since there are still those out there who believe that this election was stolen, even though the courts or law enforcement or some of what Congress has done or the state efforts, none of that has proven any of this, but those thoughts from some people are still out there. So how does this get put to rest when we're talking 3 months after the election and people are still saying this, including some Iowa Republican legislators this past week?
Well, I'll tell you, I don't know what would change their minds, because when every viable source says that the elections were fair and square, and that there wasn't mass fraud, and we still can't convince elected officials to say that this was a fair election, I'm not so sure what Congress could do to change their minds. I'm just going to continue to push that the agenda is the truth, that this was a fair election. And I find it quite interesting that I have colleagues here in the House that are continuing to call it a false election, when President Trump didn't win in their state, but they won. So what does that say about their races, that those weren't true as well? Honestly, I'm not sure. I think in general, Dave, we just need to get back to a point in this country where truth and science and data are seen for what they are: truth, science, and data.
She'll be back for the Quick Six in a bit, including when you should expect a decision about her future. But next, what the governor told me about when it's time to call in the National Guard or others to help vaccinate Iowans.